In Minecraft's most recent snapshot, they have added a few things, such as bees and honey. However, today they added for the first time ever honey blocks. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about them and how they can be used in-game. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, autumn is coming around. The smell of cold air and wind is taking over the country. However, Minecraft does not want us to forget their summer update when they added bees. Now, these guys are really, really cute, and they added a few small features to the game, which are pretty fun to mess around with. However, just earlier today, they added a bunch of new blocks and a few new mechanics that are really interesting. So, let's get right into that. They have added a few more blocks to the game, which are the honey block and the honeycomb block, each of which have their own sound effects. So the honeycomb block is purely decorational, and it does have a pretty fun sound effect, so go ahead and listen real quick. Yeah, so that's pretty fun to listen to, and it can be crafted using honeycomb, and in fact you don't even need a crafting table. You just need 4 of them, like this, and you get a honeycomb block. Pretty simple. This is only used for decoration. However, I have found a use for it in building as well. As you can see, the texture of the block really looks like a waffle. So I've put an Eggo on a plate here. I don't know what other people are going to use this for, but I feel like the waffle is going to be like a big build with the new honeycomb block. I mean, it's a very unique texture, and it looks really good as well. I can also see this being used for like the roof of a house or something. There are going to be tons of uses with that. It's a very unique texture. Next, we have the honey block. This is a pretty simple block to make. However, it does take quite a while. As we know, when a beehive is full of honey, and we right-click on it with a bottle, we get a bottle of honey and a bunch of angry bees. Now, this can be avoided, obviously, with a campfire. We talked about that in our last video. However, you need 4 of these things to make the honey block. So, here's your crafting recipe. Once again, it can be made in your normal inventory. So, we just put this, and we get 1 single honey block, meaning that these things are pretty expensive. However, they have several interesting properties, and we are about to go over that. One of their main properties is that when they move and blocks are attached to them, they carry the block with them, because the block sticks to the honey. Now, this is not unlike the slime block, which does the same thing. However, they are unique in their own way, and we'll go over that in a minute. However, they only move back down if you use a sticky piston, because they do not stick to the top part of pistons. So when you move it up with a normal piston and then you move it back down, they just don't move. Another thing they do is when you get on them, unlike the slime block, they can push you. You see how I am moving so the piston is extended. My hands are off the keyboard. I right click and it pushes me towards that piston. That is completely new to the game, and that might completely revolutionize flying machines as well. This is not the case with slime blocks either. So next, they have a few interesting properties when it comes to fall damage and moving on top of them. So if I change my game mode to survival mode real quick, if I climb up this ladder and then I jump off, I'm going to take 2 hearts of fall damage. And I'm going to heal real quick, so that when I jump on the honey block, I'm going to get a slightly different result. And with slime blocks, you jump up and you don't take any fall damage, because you bounce on them. But with the honey block, they're sticky, so you don't bounce on them, but they still reduce fall damage. So if I jump down, I only take half a heart of fall damage. That's pretty good. And you can also collect these things with 1 simple click with your hand. This is really fun, because I mean just listen to that noise. Oh yeah, Oh, that noise is just so satisfying for some reason. So another interesting property, let me change my game mode to creative real quick, is when I climb up this ladder and I jump onto the honey block, I stick to it, and I slowly fall down safely to the ground. And I don't take any fall damage. So I'm going to do that one more time. Uh, there we go. But if I make the bottom 3 blocks honey, and I go up and jump off, you see how the honey kind of caught my fall because I started sticking to it? Uh, you could use that in like survival maps or parkour maps or something. It's very interesting. So if I turn on hitboxes real quick, you can see that my hitbox doesn't cover my entire body, uh, but when I walk right up to the side of the block and I jump up and down, my hitbox is actually inside of the block a little bit. That's because the model of the block, and let me show this to you, the model of the block doesn't start at this outer sticky layer. It starts at the inner orange layer. If you got 2 of these right here, technically, this space in between them is not. It's technically air in the game's code, and it's kind of weird. So they do have a few interesting properties with walking on them. So as many of you know, when you walk on soul sand, you slow down. When you walk on honey, you go at about the same speed, except you're not like lowered into the block. You can see that I am raised up a little bit. Uh, However, on honey blocks, you cannot jump one. However, on honey blocks, you cannot jump 1 block high, as you can on normal blocks. So you can see I can jump really high there, and then over here, I can barely jump at all. So you can't jump 1 block high, however you can get onto a half slab like this. Also, unlike slime blocks, which redstone can travel through, uh, redstone does not travel through honey. It doesn't travel through glass either, but redstone does not travel through honey, and you can't, unlike glass, you cannot even place it on top, which you can place it on top of slime, but not honey. And like I said, that is because honey is not a full block. A lot of small changes were made, such as the fact that now when you hold blocks, you actually see the color of the light around you. And it's kind of broken right now, but I'm sure they're going to fix it soon. Another is that some of the of the sprites for the items are just kind of broken. So you see this lever is not supposed to be surrounded by a weird black square. That's just kind of broken, even though the lever works perfectly fine. And that, along with a few other bug fixes, pretty much sums up the update. However, there's one small thing that was added to iron golems, and this is a sweet little guy. I kind of feel bad that I have to do this, but if you get your diamond sword and you hit your golem a few times with it, I'm really sorry. You see, he starts to crack a little bit. And this is a completely new feature that just lets you tell how low on health your iron golem is. And there are a few different stages of this. You can see now it's all over his body, but you can repair it using iron ingots, which is really lucky for you. That is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this really sweet, sticky. Please like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. See ya!